What's up, everybody? This is Fred Rachani of TSC. We have right here via Zoom a very special guest. He is breaking down barriers in Hollywood. You may know him from a little film called Marvel Studios' Eternals. He plays Ben. We are talking to Lebanese actor Haaz Sleiman. Haaz, thank you so much for the time. How's everything going?
Hey, Fred. Nice to finally meet you. Everything's great. Thank you for having me. And that was cute, what you just said. This little film, Marvel film, The Eternals.
Pretty incredible. There's so much to talk about. We got a lot of questions, but I think one of the main questions on every fan's mind is, how did you get involved with such a big film?
Well, I'm a professional actor. I've been acting professionally since 2005. And I auditioned for The Eternals. I believe I did, because they give you dummy sides, because Marvel is everything's like hush hush. So I auditioned with the dummy sides, and I know I auditioned for one of the Eternals, but I don't think they were. I killed the audition, by the way. And 9 months after that audition, I hear from my agents that Marvel is offering me the part that I ended up playing. So, which became clear to me that they were not ready to cast a full-blooded Arab as an Eternal. And it was this moment where I was like disappointed, because I kind of really wanted to be one of the Eternals. But then also it was an opportunity to get to humanize a queer family for the first time in history in a Marvel film, where first time in history there's an openly gay Marvel superhero. And so for me, that was important. Also, like equally important. And it was an opportunity for me to do that. And I said yes. And it was, I have to say, it was a little bit strange, because I never read the screenplay, and they never gave me the script. So they only gave me like just my scenes. I didn't know anything else. It was a very crazy experience. Although I have to say, though, them casting Salma Hayek was brilliant. I actually didn't even know that she was proud of her Lebanese heritage until after I shot the movie. And the reason is because a lot of Arabs criticize her, which I think is really unfair. They, saying that she's not owning her Arab side and whatnot, which is not the truth at all.
You were also playing an Arab character. You are, of course, Arab. You are Muslim. You did have a line talking about what your mother always told you. We've talked off the air about how Arab men and their mothers are super close. And the other cool thing, too, just in general with the Eternals that I didn't know going into the film that I recently watched, was that it has so much Middle Eastern flavor. Did you realize kind of the scope of what you were doing and the barriers you were potentially breaking during the filming?
Yes and no. It was enough for me to see that Marvel is actually gonna have a queer family in a Marvel film represent humanity, and especially like a gay kiss. I mean, that's a huge deal. Yeah. I mean, talk about, you should see what people would say to me about that. Marvel fans that would be outraged, like, you're ruining Marvel for us. I'm like, it's, to me, I mean, that stuff doesn't mean anything. But anyway, I was just explaining to you how it all worked out in a way, because I only knew that I would be playing the husband of the first openly gay superhero, and we have a son. So that to me was enough reason for me to be super excited that I get a chance to humanize a queer family globally, and just show how beautiful queer families are. The truth of that, actually. But I did not know that, although I did know that the Eternals were very diverse, the most diverse cast in any Marvel film. Mm-hmm. You have different Eternals from different ethnicities. You have Asian, South Asian, Indian. You have Selma would be Spanish, Mexican, or with the Lebanese. But
you had a black character. You also had a black character. You had a deaf character. I mean, it's incredible.
I was going to get to that. But then not just that. Of course, the black character was my husband, Fastus. So that's a big deal. That also they had the black Eternal be gay, because we all know in the black community being gay is really, really unaccepted, and it's really, really tough, especially for gay black men. Imagine athletes who are gay and black, and then them coming out speaking their truth. That's a big deal, and it's very controversial. So Eternals did that, and a death eternal. That, to me, all of that was beyond exciting because I was so moved by that effort that Marvel was trying to do, which is Marvel was just simply trying to show the truth of humanity. This is the world that we live in. These all people, they exist. People with disabilities, people of color, Arabs, queer people. I mean, that is our world. And so finally, like this is happening. I mean, it's about time, really, if you ask me.
Agreed. And that's what I loved about it. I mean, most diverse cast in Marvel history. And hey, kudos to Disney for the casting. You always get a lot of these corporations, right? Whether it be in Hollywood or just in general, that give you a lot of lip service, like, oh, we're diverse, or oh, we support gay people, or this and that, but they only support like one part of that community or whatnot. Or it's like, hey, we have a all female cast, and it's like all white women. And this is, I mean, super diverse, and they really put their money where their mouth is. And what I really liked, and Angelina Jolie talked about this, is that they were willing to risk not having the movie be played in certain countries as well. And despite that, the movie's critically acclaimed, done very well. I mean, how happy are you to see a major studio like this kind of stick by this film and say, you know what? Okay, you don't like the gay scenes in there? Well, off.
Oh, that's, okay. Here we go. I'm very honest, so I don't want to get myself in trouble, but I still stand by what I said, that I'm proud of Disney, of course, but it's also show business. So what I mean by that is, even though they did ban it in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, I think, but in Emirates and Lebanon, the kissing scene was cut. So that means what? It means not fully did Disney commit to what it promised. But you know what? I really actually still am proud of Disney, because it is show business, and they were trying to play that game to sort of like make the world see what they stand for. And they made that statement in that way. And everyone who reaches out to me and says, oh, but they cut out the kissing scene, I'm like, I posted it on my Instagram, go watch it, or I send it to them. Or I say, when it's going to be streaming or on DVD, you can watch it. So to me, it doesn't bother me that much because of that. The fact that everyone will be able to see it at some point once the movie is on DVD, or it starts to be streamed. So I would say it didn't diminish the impact that we are all talking about right now. I've been having people look the Arabic thing. I was that line that I spoke in Arabic, it was my idea. And I spoke it in Lebanese, obviously, because I'm Lebanese. And I wanted to sound like as if I'm talking to a family member, or, and actually I stole it from my brother, my oldest brother. He got remarried to his soulmate, who happens to be Russian. And they're just like really in love, soulmates. He learned Russian like in a month for her. He started to speak Russian. So I was like, you know what? Fastus, my husband, he's my soulmate. He learned Arabic in a week, in a month, who cares? So basically that's where it came from, because I really wanted to humanize queer families and just show how charming they can be, and make it as believable and personable and as realistic as possible. And then I have to say, we have to give credit to the one and only Chloe Zhao. I think Chloe Zhao, being that she was the director and I believe a writer in this film, is why The Eternals is the way it is, and is why I was able to go up to her and tell her, hey, can I speak to him in Arabic, and can I mention my mom? Because in the Arab culture, it doesn't matter if you're queer or not, there is something really unique between a mother and her son. The relationship between a mother and her son is really special in the Arab culture. And so this is also came from that, to show the truth of my beautiful Arab culture and Lebanese culture. And to say that line, they basically said, okay, so we're going to write it for you in English, and then you can translate it and say that we say it in Lebanese, because that's how it works with Marvel. And I was like, great, wonderful. And I did it. And I actually, honestly, didn't think that they're going to actually use it. So when I was at the premiere watching it, I was so shocked. And then I got embarrassed because it was funny the way I said it. It was almost like, it just reminded me of my friends, and like when we would talk to each other and how sometimes we can sound a little ghetto and whatnot. And then I started to cry. So guess what? After the movie was released, Lebanese people in the movie theaters sending me clips of the whole audience making like, like they're like cheering, like feeling like they felt so proud to feel represented. That moved me so much because all of a sudden it was no longer about me playing a queer character. It was about like having my people feel proud, or having like I made them feel proud. I mean, that to me, I never thought I would be in this position. And that meant the world to me, honestly. It actually almost like sometimes moved me to tears because it was such a shock and how much it meant to them. Not just to Lebanese people, to a lot of Arabs, and not just for queer people. Actually, most of the Arabs that have been reaching out to me are not queer, who have been really moved by it. It's almost like the fact that Ben is queer doesn't even matter anymore to them. It's just that moment. Isn't that crazy? Like how powerful movies are and film is.
It's incredible, man. And hey, full disclosure, I'm one of those heterosexual people that reached out to you. That was like, man, like I told you the story. I went to the theater the other day to watch Eternals. We didn't know anything about, the Middle Eastern influence going in. It was awesome. We were the only ones in the theaters. It was a closed captioned version. And your scene came on, and when you mentioned, that story about what your mother always told you, like we had the same reaction. We were like, hell yeah, like yeah, ahla sahla habibi, yalla. It was great. Really, you really should be proud of yourself. Kudos to everybody involved. Just a lovely film, a beautiful scene, and an amazing form of representation. I'm not just saying that because you're with me right here. Like straight up, man. Like I can speak for all Lebanese, all Arabs, man. That was awesome. Respect to you for that.
Oh, thank you, my man. And like, thanks to Chloe, like she is someone who, she's a magnificent artist, and she's so inclusive, and she gets it, like to her, like the fact that she valued my choice and wanted to fight for it. And not just that, like even the kiss, when we were filming the kiss, she was like, okay, Haaz, Brian, kiss for just 2 beats, and then Haaz, put your hand on Brian and tell him, now go save the world and protect our son. She's like, I don't want to give Disney nor Marvel a chance to cut the kissing scene out.
Wow.
So and she succeeded at that because it's still in it. Yeah.
It's powerful, man. Now, of course, everybody really knows you now for Eternals, but your journey has been going on for a while. So let's take it all the way back to when you grew up in Lebanon. How did this journey start for you in the acting world?
Well, I was born and raised in the UAE, and then I moved to Lebanon when I was 10, and I grew up in Lebanon until I was 21. Basically, growing up in Lebanon is really what shaped me. And I always wanted to be a recording artist. Music was everything to me. It was my life. And I know, cliche. I'm one of Madonna's biggest fan. So I was basically thinking, maybe I'll follow in her footsteps. So I literally, at age 21, moved to Michigan, where she's from, because also my aunt lives there. And then I moved to Manhattan, where Madonna went. And, but it didn't end up the way it ended up with her. And I think it was 9/11 that did it for me. When 9/11 happened, my music had I was literally trying to be like a male Arab Missy Elliott, even though I don't even rap. But what I mean by that is Timbaland and Missy and Aaliyah, they always incorporated Middle Eastern music in their beats. And I loved that. So that was the direction I was going in. And then no one wanted to touch my music after 9/11. He's like, who's going to listen to this? All of a sudden, being Arab became like the worst thing imaginable. And that's when I basically realized that that's it. It's not going to be the singing. And I took an acting class at LAU, Lebanese American University, when I was 20, just out of curiosity. And so I was always curious about it. And that's when I decided to get into acting. I shot a couple of films in New York, and then I got an agent in LA before moving to LA. Moved to LA in 2004, and hustled until I became a professional actor, taking classes and all of that stuff. And actually, as a matter of fact, my first studio film was American Dreams, written by and directed by the amazing Paul Weitz. And funny enough, fast forward, just a couple of months ago, he wrote me a personal note asking me if I would consider playing a role opposite Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, which I already did shoot it this week.
Yeah. Props to you, man. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, thank you. And it meant the world to me because his note was basically so moving. The fact that he would say he's so proud of me, of the work that I've been putting out there in the world as an artist throughout my career. And that made him want to reach out and work with me again. So for me, that was really, 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 really special. But I have to say though, The Visitor is when I realized that acting is my calling. So I was acting, I was doing my thing, but I was not, I didn't know that is exactly what I wanted to do in my life. And then The Visitor came, and I, did my thing, and we were doing the whole film festival circuit. And we were at one festival, we were doing a Q&A, and then we were leaving. And then this lady chased me down. She's like, hey, Haaz, please. And then I just stopped and was like, hi. She's like, thank you. And she's an American, white lady. And she looked at me, she's like, thank you so much for your portrayal in The Visitor. I will never look at Arab men the same way again. And so when she said that to me, I was like, what? It shocked me because I did not understand the power of film and storytelling. That in this medium, you can change people's minds. You can actually help people become better. You can actually make people connect with their higher self, connect with maybe their empathy, or actually expose them to a truth that they probably didn't know. Like that lady, for instance, she never thought of Arab men as human. They were always this evil, thing, and my character was, written so beautifully by Tom, but my goal in The Visitor was this. I was like, I'm going to show the world what a loving culture the Arab culture is, how hospitable we are, just so generous, sometimes too much, if you ever come to my mom's house, you'll leave and your belly will be about to blow up, and then you don't have a choice. But it's I like that. I think that's really beautiful part of our culture that a lot of people across the globe don't know much about, because what overshadows it is the other stuff, the bad stuff that sells, So for me, The Visitor is when it started happening to me. And I have to say, I wish I came out earlier than the 2017 when I did that, because prior to my coming out, I have to say, sadly, I never really enjoyed acting. I actually started to truly enjoy being an actor after I came out in 2017. But, thank God that even though I still did good work, I'm still proud of all the work that I've done prior to me coming out, but I didn't enjoy it. For instance, Nurse Jackie, working with Edie Falco. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, also with The Visitor, Richard Jenkins. I mean, that was probably the best thing for me as an actor, to work with those greats, or Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin. So working with Edie Falco and Nurse Jackie, I did it's one of my best performances in that show, in that season. But guess what? I was actually so miserable because I was constantly doing this. I was like, okay, don't talk about this, don't say that, because if you do that, then they're going to find out that I'm gay. It's just really exhausting. And, self-betrayal, man. I lived, my journey in life has been a journey of self-betrayal. And now, since 2017, I'm finally respecting myself and even challenging my family and my community, not giving them a choice, but to accept me and respect me. Because here's the thing, what I learned is the most important thing is to respect yourself. Because if you don't respect yourself, how are you going to expect anyone else to respect you?
Yeah.
Now, but this is the bad part though. Even though I came out and I did all of that, I usually tend to play leading male roles because I'm not a character actor. So I tend to get the parts that men want to be and women want to sleep with.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since my coming out, that's not been coming my way anymore. So there's still a lot of work to be done about this. You know, like I'll put it this way. It's really cool for a straight actor to play a gay character. Oh, but it's not a good thing for a gay actor to play straight. So, and that to me is sexism, simply, you know, it's cool for a woman to dress up in men's clothes, but not cool for a man to dress up in women's clothes. That's humiliating. Why? Because we still are living in a patriarchal world, essentially. That's slowly changing, but that's part of it. And xenophobia and patriarchy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of people also brought up too, you know, like, why can't we have, you know, more, and it's great that Eternals has done this, but it's like a lot of people have been asking, like, why can't we have like more minority superheroes in general, right? There's a million white superheroes. So it's like, it's similar, like there's definitely a lot of work to do, but you've done a lot of amazing positive work. If you don't mind me asking, what made you finally come out in 2017 as opposed to say 2007? And what was kind of the reaction from your family and the Arab community?
2007 was when The Visitor was out. So that would have been the absolutely I would never be able to, impossible. Like honestly never thought I would tell my mom. And I guess what? I didn't tell her. My aunt told me. So because my aunt, like she's my mom's best friend. And as my mom is my everything. So, and because my aunt is my mom's best friend, so she is my favorite aunt and I trust her. And she also like has a son that she was like, oh, he might be gay. So she was sneaky and kind of sort of tricked me into telling her. And then she went and told my mom behind my back. And my mom knew I was gay for 8 months without me knowing about it. But to answer your question, when I did Nurse Jackie, the Advocate wanted to do an interview with me because that was also history in the making, me portraying Momo de la Cruz, because that was the first openly gay Muslim character in the history of American TV. So it was a big deal. So there was a lot of interest in it. And, you know, the way I was portraying it, like as an artist, I'm a truth teller and I always like want my characters to come across genuine. And, you know, that caught more attention because people were just like in love with my character and they wanted to know, is he gay? Is he straight? So then I told Showtime, fine, I'll do the interview with the Advocate, but please, no personal questions. Well, guess what? After half hour with this guy on the interview, like on the phone, he then says, one more question. Are you gay or straight? Dude, like I almost thought I was gonna die. My body started to shake and I just said straight. And then we hung up. And basically after that kept eating me up on the inside for years and years and years, because not only did I betray myself, I literally just not only jeopardized my integrity as an artist, I lost it. I you know, to me, that is the most important thing, my integrity as an artist. So for like year after year, it was eating me up and I was getting angrier and angrier. And also like it affected my life in every way, not just professionally, but personally. So it was really just year after year, accumulation of just this betrayal and anger at myself, to the point where one time in 2017, there was a report that more LGBTQ people have been murdered that year, half of 2007, than the entire year of 2016, and mostly trans women of color. So that combined with my self-betrayal journey, like I exploded. It was like a volcano. I couldn't control myself. I literally grabbed my phone and just said it as however I wanted to say it. Actually, I received a backlash for the way I came out. So, because I how can I say it? I shared too much information. I'm very private. I'm a very shy person, but when I want to make a point, I make it. I'm a bottom. I don't know if you know about that world in the gay men world, like top bottom. My mom's version of it is like, so are you the woman or the man in the relationship? So I was like, Mom, not gonna go there right now. But I shared that I was a bottom because of, again, sexism. I'm making a point. Like, as soon as a guy has a quality that is associated to women, then that is shameful. You are to be shamed about it. There is something we call bottom shaming, believe it or not.
Wow.
So yeah. But bottom shaming meaning like they're looked down on. But if you're the top, oh, you're the guy. And once I actually, one of my exes was very effeminate, very effeminate. You would think he's a bottom. Well, I was the bottom, and everybody thinks I'm a top. And so I would walk around like, yeah, I'm a top, like, like jokingly. And I was like, what am I thinking? What I'm doing exactly what's being done to me, which I thought was really funny. And it was really also profound to see that I kind of was falling in that trap of feeling like less than because I was a bottom. And so when I came out, it was about this. It was about, I have a right to defend myself. So I came out and I wanted to include that report in the coming out, in my coming out. And I basically shared all that information. And I said, not only am I bottom, I'm also a total bottom, which means I like it up you know where. And just because I'm gay and I'm a nice guy, don't get it twisted. If you're gonna come and kill me just because I'm gay, I will you up. And so it was this point where I was like making that, people assume, oh, you're a bottom, or if you have any quality that is female or like associated to women, that you're like basically not only you're a joke, like literally anybody can bully you. Anybody can do whatever they want with you. And I was like, no. It does not work that way. And I'm a big feminist, by the way. So for me, it was also coming from that side as well, like, fighting against sexism and making a point that I have a right to defend myself. I was just sick and tired of hearing these reports and no one is saying anything about it. It's like, to me, it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, I don't get why people are not angry about this. So it's really like all of these things. And I have to say, like, even my mom, like when I came out, that video was all over the place. And so my mom's like, did you have to do that? I'm like, yeah, Mom. She's like, okay, I know. You were respecting yourself. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Because I actually had to teach my mom who I was, who I am as a man, like teach her what I'm going through and make her understand what I'm doing as an artist. Like I tell her, like, I'm an actor because I want to give my love to the world. I want to remind people that they're not alone. I want to like remind them of their beauty. I want to remind them of how significant they are and of what they're capable of. And, so that was important for me to explain to my mom so she could understand what kind of an artist I am, so that whenever I'm portraying a gay character or something that's controversial, she's not anymore misunderstanding whatever it is that she sees I'm doing. And my mom is a very loving, charitable person, as my dad was, may he rest in peace. So in a way, it's really, I just take it from them. Like I actually inherited that quality from them. Like today, I was talking to my mom. She's literally gathering tons of clothes to give it to the needy, like in Lebanon.
That's powerful stuff, man. It's amazing the journey you had and everything. And I love the fact that your mom has been, so supportive as well. And it's the kind of the beauty in maturing and aging, right? Like you get to a point where you want to live your truth. You give no more. At the end of the day, like you are who you are. And I can see just how happy you are. And really it resonates with so many people, especially in the Arab community and in other regions where maybe they don't feel like they could be themselves, can relate to that. I mean, I would imagine that the support you've received, but also the people that relate to you has been just insane, right?
Oh man, dude. I mean, I don't want to cry, so I'm gonna make sure I don't. Like some of the all over the world. I mean, Marvel, Disney. I mean, you can't get bigger than that. So that's also what's so wonderful about this, right? Like this is why you and I are talking right now. Yeah. And like to me, getting messages across the globe, not just from Arab queer Arab people, but queer people from all over, like Indonesia, like in Pakistan. I mean, you name it, everywhere. One person reached out to me and literally described to me how he was gonna kill himself, and he was literally standing over a bridge. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so and so he's like sharing with me all of that because it's exactly what you're talking about. Like there are a lot of people suffering and isolated and alone in this, and so the fact that this film and this part is now giving them hope somehow, and some of them are reaching out to me, and like this guy that shared that with me, I actually at one point in my life was suicidal, and so I told him this. I said, listen, buddy, no, you're not going to kill yourself because you matter, you're important, you're worthy, you have every right to exist. Why? Because God created you. You don't need nobody else to give you that permission, not even your parents. And I said to him, let's make a pact. If I don't kill myself, you don't kill yourself. And so now we're like in constant communication, and I'm, giving him ideas of how he can like leave his country so he can actually really finally thrive and be free because he's suffocating. And dude, this is just one story. There's so many stories like that. And so for me, yes, that on its own is, to me, I consider it was a blessing that this part came to me, this part in the Marvel film in Eternals, to get to portray it. Because also I have to say something, man, like I really think Marvel, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chloe Zhao is the one who asked for me, because she's friends with another director that I actually was in his film, Joey Kuhn. And she even told me, please say hi to Joey for me. But I think they were smart to cast me because they knew that I would be the right one to humanize a character like that. Because you have to think about it. Like, I didn't have that much to work with. Like, I've done movies where I was the lead. That's actually easier because you have a journey. But when you have just a few scenes and you need to really like make an impact, but I was determined, and thank God I was able to do that.
God bless you, man. That's incredible. And I should also note too, and remind people, you're not just Lebanese, you are Lebanese Muslim. And I feel like a lot of times doesn't matter the religion, we see it in the States, the people use religion as an excuse to discriminate against people. And the reality is like, that's not what religion's all about. So I love the fact that you're also representing the gigantic worldwide Muslim community in a positive light too, because, a lot of people do like to use the religion thing as an excuse to discriminate, when the reality, like, nah, it ain't about that.
Well, and let's not forget, who's interpreting religion?
Mm-hmm.
God? No. Humans. Yeah. They're not gods. None of us are God. And so this is also another thing about religion that turns me off, is like when people speak as if they think they're speaking on God's behalf, even though they're actually just interpreting it for their own benefit. I don't know if you've heard of the film Breaking Fast, but it was released this year. It's a feature film written and directed by my friend Mike Sleiman, who is also an openly gay practicing Muslim, and he cast me to play the lead in it. And I play in the film an openly gay practicing Muslim who goes to the mosque and prays. Literally, that has never been done before, this kind of film. It was a huge deal. I'm so proud of it. It's a rom-com. So thank God that it's a rom-com, because otherwise it could be too heavy. But that film, like, I'll never forget, Mike was like, let's get ready for the death threats. I was like, what? And it shocked me because they said that to me when I was about to portray my character, Nurse Jackie. Well, that was in 2009. So, okay, but that's because it's never been told or seen or shown an openly gay practicing Muslim, meaning my character in this film is so devout. The film it's called Breaking Fast. It takes place in the holy month of Ramadan. We're talking about a queer romantic comedy that takes place in the month of Ramadan. I mean, dude, like, some people be like, how dare you ruin Ramadan for us? I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm Muslim. What do you mean? It was really insane to me how people can be so heartless and so not in touch with empathy and compassion, and forget that, oh, guess what? I was also created by God, the same God as yours. And so, but this is what I love about films and me being an actor. I'm going to quote James Baldwin. Artists are here to disturb the peace. So that's why I'm so happy that I'm in the Eternals, because I'm disturbing the peace in a way, you know, like with the ban in Saudi Arabia and all of that, and Breaking Fast similarly as well, you know, to make people uncomfortable, to force them to look at the truth of humanity. This is the truth of the world that we live in. You can deny it all you want. You can be in, you know, but that's, to me, that's exactly why artists need to disturb the peace, you know, because that's the only way it can actually make a change. You know, like, I think art is really such a powerful thing. And I'm just really happy to see that finally, like, big studios like Marvel and Disney are starting to be an example, hopefully, for, you know, the industry, hopefully, and that becomes more and more the thing.
Yeah, for sure. I interviewed recently an actor named Haaz, and he said something really powerful to me. He's like, art's doing you a favor. And you look at what you did with the Eternals and what Marvel's doing with the Eternals. And then, of course, I don't know if you're familiar with Ms. Marvel. That's a series that's coming out on Disney Plus, which is going to be the first Muslim superhero.
Oh,
yeah.
I actually have not.
Okay, yeah, it's the first Muslim superhero. I believe the young woman plays a Pakistani Muslim woman. She's portrayed also in the video game Marvel's Avengers on PS4 and
I have
on
to
the
watch
Xbox.
it. I
Yeah,
have to
which
watch
is
it.
pretty
Thank you
cool.
for telling me. That's exciting.
For sure.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I mean, Hulu, you know, has Rami, which is like totally,
Right.
very relatable for me too, growing up in North Jersey and to Arab family
Well,
and
yeah,
everything.
exactly, with you, because you also, I mean, wait, were you born? No, you were born in Venezuela?
No, I was born in New Jersey. My family was both, my mom and dad were born
Oh,
in Venezuela, two Lebanese Druze parents. My dad grew up in Shuaifat, which
right.
I know you mentioned off there. You said you went to school there for a bit.
Yeah,
So
right,
yeah,
right.
it's
And my
as,
soulmate she's Drizzy as well.
yeah, there you go. So it's just I mean, obviously, Hollywood still has a long way to go. The world still has a long way to go, but it is amazing to see Middle Eastern Arab culture, Muslim culture, being, you know, exposed to a wide audience like this.
Yeah, oh, totally. I mean, it's about time, man. I mean, let's not forget about Black community, the Black
Yeah.
people, like Black Panther, and finally, like, them winning Oscars and whatnot. Like, it was ridiculous that the first Black act, well, no, the first, well, in the more recent years, like that, it was Halle Berry. It was such a big deal that she got the Oscar. You know, to me, it's so ridiculous. Like,
It's long overdue, man. It's like they're playing
yeah,
catch up. Totally.
yeah, and then also with women, like women directors, like Catherine. Forgot, she was the first one, and then Chloe Zhao finally wins for best director. You know, the progress is happening, evolution is happening, but I have to say, it's still shocks me though, because, you know, like, if you look at it, like, most of the most beloved celebrities and athletes are Black.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy to me. You know how even that's the case, yet this systemic racism and this sort of unfair way of how they want to make sure certain communities stay down and not thrive. You know, but hopefully that will also change. But man, like, look, the history of this country, we both know it's, you know, it's a violent history, and it is going to take time. But I think for me, most importantly, is Hollywood. For instance, think about that. Friends, one of the most iconic TV series. Why were they all white?
Yeah.
I mean, like, so that to me is what I have issue with. But then she made up for it in Grace and Frankie, because I knew there was like Black characters and whatnot, and queer and the whole thing. You know Grace and Frankie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was also the creator of that show,
Mhm.
which I didn't know until recently. So to me, I feel like what shocks me is how slow Hollywood has been to be that for the world. And it's not really there yet either. Because I, as an openly gay Arab Muslim actor, I play leading male roles. I'm not getting them. I'm not getting work because of that.
Mhm.
And not just me. I think, look, I'm not going to out some actors, but there are some A-list actors in Marvel films, I'm not going to say who, who are gay, but they're in the closet, which means what? Would they have been cast if they were openly gay in those superhero roles? I don't think they would have. And that's why they're still in the closet. So to me, all of that is very ignorant and like backward thinking and confusing to me, because I think art should be progress, should be the the symbol of progress, should be how we see our future to become better people, better human beings, see a more hopeful future, make humanity, connect humanity more with each other. And like by just literally by either exposing people to the truth. Look how lies are being spread so easily in this country. Yeah. It's crazy to me. You know, like smart people wanting Trump and following Trump, and they are smart. And I'm like, yeah, so we're in a very dangerous time. And I think art can save us as long as art is truthful and is trying to show the truth of humanity, which I think the Eternals is an example of that.
Mm-hmm. Well said, man. And one more note on this before we get to a bit of a lighter topic at hand. You know, I strongly suggest people should check out Ian Dunlap's study on the cost of racism. Just, I don't remember the exact number, but the cost of racism in the U.S. economy has cost the country trillions of dollars over the last several decades. So it's like, if you're talking specifically about Hollywood, never mind the human aspect of it, like, hey, we all deserve representation, right? Just the fact that economically it makes zero sense not to feature people of all backgrounds in these various projects and everything. So inshallah, as we would say, that all changes very soon.
Wow, yeah, I mean, like that number, I was like, damn, wow, yeah, crazy.
Yeah. On a much lighter note, we always like to ask our guests some kind of random rapid fire questions just to get to know them better. Are you ready, my friend?
Go ahead.
Favorite late night snack or cheat meal?
Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, favorite late nights? Oh, I have so many. Oh, okay, I got it. Ice cream with almond butter.
Any kind?
Brown almond butter.
Any kind of ice cream?
Belgium chocolate, brown butter almond. I forgot the name of the company that makes it, but basically it's brown butter with almonds and Belgian chocolate. It's so good.
Speaking of food, I'm going to get you more hungry here. What's your favorite Lebanese dish?
Ooh, well, you know, because I love animals, I'm not going to say kibanaye. Mlukhiyeh.
I love it.
But only by my mom. My mom's mlukhiyeh.
Yeah. And for people that aren't familiar with mlukhiyeh, can you explain a little?
Oh, sorry. Yes, of course. So mlukhiyeh is I mean, I would say it's actually originally Egyptian. Yeah. The Egyptian version of it. It's really a stew dish with a leafy green. The Egyptian version, they chop it up really finely, and it's usually made with rabbit and on the side with rice. But in Lebanon, because we always love to do it our way, well, my mom also does it her way. She makes it with the full leaf, like she never chops it, and it gets mucusy. So my mom is like so masterful that it never gets mucusy. And then she puts chicken and beef in the mlukhiyeh. And essentially it's like this leafy green stew with chicken and beef, and then on the side rice, but of course tons of liye, which is like the fat from the animals, because that's what makes it taste really good and rich.
What's your favorite spot in Lebanon?
I love Lebanon. My God.
Okay, we'll split it into two. What's your favorite? Because Beirut, it's like its own country sometimes. What's your favorite spot in Beirut, and what's your favorite spot just in Lebanon in general?
Okay. I mean, sadly, I have to say that is where, we're famous for,
the cedars,
the cedar tree. And I recently revisited it with my British friend who is half Chinese, half Zimbabwean, so she's half black, half Asian, and she came to Lebanon and visited me, and I took her all over. And oh no, but you know what? There was this beautiful village in Lebanon that my dad took me to, and Tanurin. My God, man, like no, that's not fair. Lebanon has so much beautiful Byblos, Jbel, come on, it's endless. Beirut.
Byblos is the oldest inhabited city in the world. When I went there, man, like I kid you not, when I saw that view with the sunset, I got an out of body experience. It was crazy.
Did you go to the bazaar, the old market as well? It's so beautiful. My God, yeah. So you know, I can't tell you just one thing. People like all of them, and then okay, Beirut. I mean, I love Hamra, for instance.
Hamra Street's awesome, yeah.
Hamra, like for me, kind of like feels like that's our little Manhattan, you know, in a way. I love the south of Lebanon is beautiful. You know, the beaches are gorgeous there, and in Byblos as well, the beaches are gorgeous. I'm not answering you the right way.
Do you have a favorite? Do you like to party at all? Do you have like a favorite like bar or club like there?
You know, I like club like Beit Din, you know, stuff like even like Mariam Al Adra in Junia, you know, like Harissa, like Mghar Tajita. Sorry, partying. Yeah, man, I'm Lebanese. Come on, bro. Like we're famous for that. Like that's. But honestly, I'm starting to get too old for it, you know, because I can't keep up. Because they party.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, what was that club? God, the one with the roof that opens.
Oh, is it BO18?
Yes, BO18.
Yes, okay. I went there a couple years ago. It used to be like an army base, right? Like for like the missiles or whatever it was, and then
really,
because that's why they open up. Yeah, because that's why I think it's underground. They open up the roof. That's what I heard. Like apparently, it used to be an old like military base where he kept the missiles.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. That sounds very Lebanese. But bro, when I went to that club and that roof opened, I was just like, what? I was blown. I was like, America wishes they have something like that.
Oh yeah.
And also the other thing that I love about clubbing or partying in Lebanon, man, that's my favorite part. It's like they're playing like, you know, a Western song, and then all of a sudden like Kulthum comes on, or like an Arabic songs, and everybody starts to belly dance, and everyone is jumping on the tables, and it's like, but you know, that's what you have to do when you're Lebanese, because if you're living your life not knowing if you're going to be alive the next day, or, you know, you're being run by the freaking mafia, you know, I'm not going to name names. You want to like be happy. You want to like try to like escape all of that misery. And so it makes sense to me, you know, and they really know how to party. And even like all the new clubs on the rooftops, there's so many of them now. I can't keep up, honestly, with the names and whatnot. But dude, a lot of people from all over the Arab world, where do they go to Lebanon for? Why do they go to Lebanon for?
To Beirut, yeah.
Yeah, they go there exactly for that. Because in their countries, they don't have what we have. I really love our country for that. And that's why it really hurts that the Lebanese people themselves are not getting it. It's like this whole thing about Tawa'if and like, you know, you belong to this. And we're all Lebanese. Mm-hmm. And even religion, who cares if you're Dirzi or Muslim or Shia or whatever, you know? I think globally, the West is taking advantage of that. And they love working with dictators or corrupt leaders. And they are taking advantage of that. But I really hope one day that the Lebanese people just wake up and say, yeah, we're all Lebanese, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's obviously going to take some time, but I do feel like, you know, Haram, after that horrible explosion, I think a lot more people are waking up now. Obviously, in terms of being able to take action collectively, that's like a whole nother thing, because you're dealing with the politics of there, and then the international politics that affect us. But I would say that's probably like a wake up call. Like you're definitely seeing more people kind of speaking up, and yeah, man, all we can do is hope and pray, and you know, one day in our lifetimes that definitely happens. But yeah, I love Lebanon.
But let's go back to the fun. Yeah, so much to do there when you go to Lebanon, man. I always say to people here, are you married? Are you in a relationship? Don't go to Lebanon. The Lebanese people are beautiful. And so for me, it's like, it's dangerous for married people to go there alone without their spouse.
Mm-hmm. Who is your all-time favorite actor?
That sometimes changes, but right now, Alfre Woodard and Kate Winslet and Cherry Jones.
Awesome. Favorite Eternals character besides yourself and your husband?
Well, I would say Fina and Ajax. Selma's Eternal.
Ajax.
Yeah, Ajax. Yeah, I would say Ajax. Ajax is my favorite. Ajax. She really moved me, Selma's performance in the film, and I love her. I have so much love for her. She's amazing. And I might end up working with her. I have a meeting with her, the head of her production company next week, I believe. So pray for me, keep fingers crossed. Ajax. Salma Hayek's Ajax in Eternals is my favorite.
Fingers crossed for sure. Who's your all-time favorite superhero?
Well, God, I'm going to sound like a cliche right now. I was going to say Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman, because that to me was probably I've seen Star Wars. Yeah, I've seen Star Wars when I was like 6 or something, but that's not superhero, right? So we're talking about superheroes. So for me, I think that was my introduction to superheroes. And he was my favorite. He is my favorite superhero. As an actor portraying a superhero, I thought he was beyond brilliant. And actually in Breaking Fast, we talk about him. Oh, wow. And we even show a clip of him, of me and the guy that I'm basically the love interest, that he surprises me because my character is a huge Superman fan. And he's also, his favorite is Christopher Reeve's Superman, like myself. And so that was really fun to actually get to do this film because of that as well. So yeah, that one, Superman. But the reason why I'm saying Christopher Reeve, because I wouldn't have said that had it not been for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And much respect to him. God rest his soul. He did a lot. Yeah. Talk about somebody who broke barriers and did so much positive work for people, helped so many lives. Like just an amazing, he had an amazing legacy on screen, but off screen, like God bless him. Just what a career.
Yeah, amen. And also what a brilliant talent he was.
Yeah, for sure. Most awkward moment as an actor?
Oh, I got a good one for you. Okay, so I don't know if you've heard of the one and only Peter Kosminski, British writer-director Peter Kosminski. It was his, I would call it a masterpiece almost, a 4-part miniseries for Channel 4. And it was literally about the creation of Israel. And I was cast without having to audition. He was a huge fan of mine. I'm like, what? And he wanted me to play and portray the love interest of the lead character in the miniseries, played by the one and only Claire Foy from The Crown, who became huge and won the Golden Globe and whatnot. And I'm just like, I'm in awe of her. She's such a talent. But I got to play her love interest in the series. And I got to play a Christian, a Palestinian who was Christian, but who used to fight with the Al-Aqsa, with a group fighting for Palestine, to free Palestine. So he was basically also a freedom fighter, let's say. But then afterwards, he decided to go a different route and meet in the middle with another former Israeli soldier that decided that they want to actually now find a way to really work together and not against each other. And that was based on real people in Palestine and Israel. But it was simply that. It spanned from the creation of Israel in the 40s until the present time, which was like whatever, I don't know, like we shot it after 2010. 2010, sorry, we shot it, 2010. So I was her love interest, and the love relationship started to develop, even though initially I was the one who she was like trying to see if I can help her find a family, and she wants to give them a key. The miniseries is called The Promise. I don't know if you know that, but The Promise is this. It's like the Palestinians call it al-wa'd. Al-wa'd annu, what? That the promise is that they're going to keep the keys to the homes that were taken from them by the Israelis. That one day they're going to get their homes back. So that's the promise. And so her character, this is Peter Kosminski. He's incredible. He's Jewish. And I don't say it's pro-Palestinian. I say it's pro-truth. He showed the truth. I mean, the massacres that the Israelis committed against the Palestinians in the 40s, it was all in the miniseries. And he got a backlash from the Israelis. And I'll never forget it. He said to me, he's like, they were asking him, blah, blah, blah. He's like, Israel is a democracy. I have every right to criticize Israel. And he shut him up like that. Wow. They even burnt a lot of the film, actually. I had to go to a Palestinian film, actually, which, I can only do that because of my American passport. And the reason why I did it is because it was showing the truth of what happened, which will come across to some people, oh, this is pro-Palestinian. No, it's pro-truth. And let me get to the good point. I don't know. I had to explain all of that to you because I'm so proud of this miniseries and I really want people to watch it, more and more people. Anyone who watches it is blown away by it. And this is the thing, man. Like, I don't know why that kind of show doesn't get more attention. Maybe because of the subject matter. Anyway, so here we are. I had a couple of makeout scenes with Claire. So the first one, look, I was not out yet that I'm gay, right? I was in the closet, but I'm a very genuine person. Like I'm genuine, like when I do stuff or say stuff, it almost comes across like I'm a child because I have a big inner child. So my honesty, you know how kids, when they're so honest, they can be so awkward. So that's exactly what happened. So here we are, we're action, French kissing, cut. Peter's like standing next to me and Claire. I'm like, Claire, you're such a good kisser. So Paul looked at me. He's like, I'm sorry, Peter, because I was just working with Paul Weitz. I'm like, Paul, Peter. Peter was like, shh, Haaz, you don't say such things. I was like, I just wanted to like crawl up in a ball and die in that moment. It was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. But then I was like, like I knew my intention, but I was like, dude, what the is wrong with you? Like, they don't know you're gay. Like, because I thought, myself, oh, maybe they'll know that I mean it like in a genuine way. It's not like I'm being inappropriate, but it's like, no, that's not what happened. Like, it was very awkward. And thank God Claire Foy is such a professional. It didn't even faze her.
That's all. Well, it's an awesome story. So I'm sure it wasn't awesome in the moment, but glad you could go back and laugh.
Well, it was what you said, the most
awkward. Awkward, yeah.
Pretty. I mean, I have other ones too, but that was pretty awkward for me. Well, because I like looked like an idiot. And
we'll get you out of here on a very positive note. What's the best piece of advice you give anybody for success and living their truth?
Well, you just said it, living their truth, and to respect themselves, to really understand their value, to value themselves. Everyone has value, but a lot of us either don't think that way or forget about that somehow. And I'm not talking about just queer people. I'm talking about everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone like can actually fall in that trap of feeling not enough, not worthy, given like where they grow up, the parents that they have, the culture that they're in. Mm-hmm. As you and I know, also like religion plays a huge part, and a lot of religions like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't be human, you can't enjoy life. It's like, why are we here? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I feel for me, the most important thing is to respect yourself, know your value, or make sure that you understand your value. And always from that place, always, never settle for anything. Always give your best, always challenge yourself to be the best that you can be, and always be curious and learn and grow and get better and better and better, because that never ends. Me as an actor, I'm always like, no, I'm not yet where I want to be, and I will never get there because I will always get better. And I think that applies to everything. And so for me, it's like always pursue your passion, what makes you happy, no matter what it is. But you can only do that if you know who you are, if you know your value. I have to, like, for instance, I have to mention Adele, like the album 30 that just came out. I'm just like blown away by her because she was so honest to share her imperfections. And the fact that she felt guilty that she divorced her husband, the father of her son, even though she was sort of deprived of that in her childhood, and she wanted to make sure her son doesn't get deprived of it. But then she decided that, no, I want to actually put myself first and not sacrifice myself for my husband and my child. I want to be happy. I'm not happy. That's what I'm talking about. Respect yourself. Give yourself what you deserve, what you're worthy of. We're all worthy of that. And Adele is teaching us that too, beautifully so. And so for me, it's about that. And specifically, I guess, for women, let's say, and mothers, they're made to feel guilty whenever they do things that make them happy. They're expected to be selfless. And that's very also common in the Arab world. So I'm constantly like having conversations with my mother. I'm sending her songs like, Mom, listen to this song. Do you remember this song? Because she forgot what she loves. She forgot who she was because of that, for instance. And I think for me, like, the most important thing is what makes you happy. What is your passion? What are you passionate about? And why? Do you know? Do you even know these things? Because if you don't know these things, that means you don't know your value, or simply you don't value yourself or respect yourself enough. So that's why I keep bringing it back. Simplify, respect yourself, give yourself your value, know what you're passionate about, follow your heart unapologetically. And really, honestly, never, ever, ever make yourself small for no reason whatsoever. Not because of your race, the color of your skin, or where you're from. No reason is a good reason to diminish yourself or belittle yourself. That to me is so universal. So in other words, again, no matter what you went through in your life, how people treated you, how you were raised, that is your job, to empower yourself and to know your truth and to value yourself and to never ever diminish yourself, and also not to diminish anybody else. Because also, like, when you look at others that are different than you, when you look at them in a bad light, that is a reflection of who you are as a person, rather than actually celebrate those who are different from you and actually see them see the good in them, or see them as significant, see their significance. Let's say, like, even like my friend one time told me, he said, I want you to go and give money to people, just random people on the street. He's a very spiritual, he's like my guru, like my mentor in that way. And he said, just put, for your smile, you could put $5, $10, whatever, and just walk around. He's like, do not differentiate. Homeless person, a person in a Maserati or in a Rolls Royce, you treat them the same way. Do not feel sorry for a homeless person, because that you're actually weakening that person. That person is strong and is significant. So it's, in other words, what I'm saying is, what's the most important thing is your relationship with yourself and how you see yourself. And if you have the power to either make yourself big or make yourself small, which one are you going to do?
Make yourself big.
Yeah. And so basically all I'm saying is everyone is so powerful because they are in control of how they will become, who they will become, meaning we are in control in terms of how we will end up seeing ourselves. We are in control in terms of choosing what do we want to tap into, which side of ourselves, no matter how much we've been victimized. So I would say be really, really care about knowing who you are and making sure that you know that you have value. Because in life, if you want to succeed, you're asking me to success. The most important thing is this, just one thing. Are you going to add value or not? Because that's my job. And any production that I get hired, I add value. And I know that I do. And I know that I always elevate anything, any production that I'm a part of. And I say it proudly, but that took time for me to get there, right?
Mhm.
And I think everyone has to add value to earn money. This is how you earn money. You add value, you get back what you added. You added value, then that's how it is. Give, take, give, take. But then to add value and you don't think you have value, that's kind of like the craziest thing. It's like almost like it's almost impossible, but I actually did that before coming out. I was not giving myself value, but I was still able to do it. You know why? Because I had so much empathy and compassion, but I was miserable. What is more important? That I'm like doing it miserably? No, hell no. No, no, no. So this is like me coming out was one of the best things that I could do. I am suffering financially because of it. I'm getting less opportunities. I'm paying a price. But you know what? I'd rather that than be miserable. And you know, I think for me, I'm actually trying also because of that, the value thing. So now I'm actually trying to produce. I'm working with these two buddies of mine to produce this big show, epic show, think Game of Thrones meets Spartacus, under the umbrella of Black Panther. So written by Arabs for the world. And also like I have this other screenplay written by Richard Friedenberg, which I will be starring in. And I'm going to try to get Shireen Daibus, who is an incredible Palestinian-American filmmaker, writer, director, and actor, and make that happen. So it's like now I'm like trying to take things in my own hands and create opportunities for myself. It's like, okay, so you're not going to give me the opportunity? All right, I'm going to do it myself. You know, as an example in terms of how that ends up translating in someone's life or journey in their career, when you actually start to finally know who you are, know your value, and unapologetically occupy, like own the space that you occupy. Yeah. Unapologetically, always. Like whenever I'm on set, man, I'm on set, I'm like a king. Like I walk on set, I'm like, this is my space, this is my world. And you know what? People end up treating me, how they're treating me, like no matter how small my part, obviously if I'm number one, which I've done many of those, they always treat you like a king. But even when it's small, everyone treats you so much with so much respect. And if you actually are like unhappy about something, they will make sure to fix it. That's basically what I'm talking about. Meaning, it is really the law of attraction, maybe, yeah. You know, like if you believe you are that person, you are worthy, you're valuable, you're powerful, that brings stuff to you, that draws things to you. And it also makes you act differently. And it makes people treat you differently. It's really profound.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, man. Well, powerful stuff. Haaz, I can't not thank you enough for the time. It's been an absolute pleasure learning about you, learning about your journey, learning about the awesome film Eternals. Before we let you go, where can fans find you online and where can we find you next on screen?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram, and they're both verified, so thank God for that. Instagram is Haaz.Sleiman and Twitter is Haaz Sleiman. I just finished filming with the amazing Paul Weitz and Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. They're not done filming. I think that movie will probably be released in a year, maybe. So that was like the last project that I did. And I'm working on the projects that I'm actually currently developing. So, you know, we'll see. I'll keep everyone posted on social media, I guess.
Awesome. Haaz, thank you so much for your time, man. An absolute pleasure.
Pleasure is mine. Pleasure to finally meet you.